Hello and welcome to another Top Flight show. I'm Rich Morrell, and joining me on the sofas this evening, we've got Mr. Race Director Chris Parr.
Good evening, Richard.
And I like that. And it's just you on the couch tonight, but we have got a special guest joining us. So although we've only got Chris with us in the studio, we do actually have Alex Bell on the line. So we'll be chatting to Alex Bell shortly. Alex, are you there? Can you see us? Can you hear us?
I'm in the house. Hello, good evening, gentlemen.
Hello, Alex. How are you?
I'm great, thanks, guys. How you doing?
I'm not too bad. Chris, how are you? Well, actually, I'm going to say, Chris, how are you? But I already know because as soon as he walked in, he told me he's tweaked his hamstring on his run this evening, so he had to walk back after 3 miles. So, yeah, Chris, how are you, mate?
Yeah, well, I had a couple of weeks holiday where I went to Disneyland in Paris, which, I then needed a whole day to recover after that. And then we've just done our first Northeast Trails event in Chopwell Woods, which is, really hilly. And the stop-start running up and down hills in old age hasn't gone down well. And then hamstrings twinge today. But
Yeah.
hopefully not too bad.
So, rough start to your week.
Yeah.
So anyway, Alex, we've got you on the line. We're going to maximise our time with you this evening. So, Alex, before we get into things, there'll be people watching this. Majority of them will know who you are and your background in the sport. But for those that watching that may not, do you want to give us a brief overview of some of your past achievements in the sport and what you're up to current day?
Of course, yes. So predominantly known on the athletics track as an 800-meter runner for the majority of my career, really. Made the Olympic final in 2021, running the 7th fastest by Brig on today's list as well as for 1:57.66. Commonwealth finalist, European finalist, and now I'm at a stage in my life where I'm transitioning into something from unknown territory of the roads, trying to break onto the road scene. That's it.
I mean, a fantastic resume there. I remember, watching the Olympic final in that 1:57. It was a phenomenal run. And I can't even comprehend or get my head around what it feels like to be, towing the line in an Olympic final. So, hats off to you for all your achievements in the sport. I think, Chris, you had something on the tip of your tongue ready to go there.
Yeah, I think obviously you've had a fantastic career, and it has had some controversies as well in terms of selection. So I remember, obviously, those who know athletics pretty well will have followed your career, and sometimes will have got really annoyed when you haven't been selected for things where we felt that you should have been. Yeah, so hopefully those sort of things are behind you now, and you can crack on with the roads and have less controversies with selection, because it should just be get a time, run your way into the team, and hopefully we'll see you back in some GB vest. You did actually win the British 5K Championships this weekend as well, so another congratulations on that.
Good start, isn't it?
Yeah, I think that's like.
I'm learning and stuff. I'm trying to see a solution to new and fire that I'm entering. But none I'm enjoying this.
Yeah. Are you like happy to just leave the track career behind you now? Because did you not fancy going to like 5K on the track first, or was it just like now?
Body, the spikes and the Achilles issues for over the last few years, I honestly don't think that my body would be able to sustain on the track. But I think just mentally I was exhausted from the track, and whether you're in sport or any other career of your life, I think there comes a time where you're ready to move on to something else, or you're ready for a new challenge. And for me, that actually came into fruition about a year before, when I actually retired from the track. So I already had my mind made up the year in the wings, but I just needed to ride that year out, and I went and left them on long terms as opposed to leaving on an injury, which is always a nice way to leave. You always want to have that option to leave. And I'm so lucky and fortunate that I can go into another avenue. Sometimes as an 800-meter runner, 800 is not the limit. You're a 800-meter runner, or 8:15, and then you progressively move up. But yeah, my history, I dabbled in a few cross countries, got a few European medals, now with a team and mixed relays. So I have dipped my toes in the distance, but not like what I'm going to achieve in the next coming months.
Yeah, actually, when you mentioned the cross country, I remember going to watch the Northern Cross Country in Pontefract in, I'm going to say 2019, somewhere around then. And I think you were fourth in the senior women's. And as an 800, like looking at you as an 800-meter runner, lots of people were passing comment like that. That was incredibly impressive because it was a muddy, tough January cross country. And as an 800 runner, finishing fourth says like that was very, very good. So you've definitely always had that like aerobic background. Has your training massively changed, given that you obviously did have that aerobic element there already?
Yeah, it really has. I never doubled day in my life. Never easy run on top of my session days. I did my first double threshold the other day, hitting 80 miles in weekly mileage now, which peak of summer it'd be maybe 30 miles max, and in the winter maybe 40 if you're lucky. So yeah, it's a big change. I'm learning a lot as I go. Recovery is a massive key big element to what I need to do to get on to the big goals that I've got targeted. And yeah, just anything that my coach says to me, I'm like, come on, bring it on. Whatever you're telling me to do, I'll attempt it and try and do it to the best of my ability.
No, that's really good. And interesting you were saying there, so you've upped your mileage up to, you were saying 80 miles there. But then you previously mentioned about you'd had some Achilles injuries that had obviously like halted things on the track or affected your track work. How's your body coping, like adjusting to the mileage and everything like that? Is everything been plain sailing, or are the niggles slightly different, or yeah, how's the body holding up with that kind of work?
Well, if you could all touch a bit of wood, that'd be great because that's not good. But yeah, it's hard to imagine that you're doing obviously a lot more mileage, a lot more of the intensity, but the body's actually adapting to it really well. It's almost as if I do take a rest and now the day after I struggle to get going again. So it's just easy not to take a rest day, just easier days.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've moved brands and I signed with Mizzou now. I signed with National Crash Rabbit who supporting and believing a lot in this new journey. Yeah, the shoes have been fantastic for me and adapting to the miles and doing very, very well.
Yeah.
Yeah, they looked like something from the space age when I seen you at Battersea Park running them. They're like a different shape, so shall we say. So yeah, you think you can give them a plug, that's fine. You reckon that they're up there with the best?
I'll put it like this, I've had 2 major contracts with some big brands, and I've actually worked for a big brand for 7 years as well, while being contracted as well, and yeah, there's no comparison. These are definitely working well for me, and they're very adaptable and versatile for a lot of people, and can't fault anything that I've come across up to now.
Oh,
well, if they want to send Rich some, then shall we let
I'm already on the train. I'm sold on them. I'm surprised you went to Alex over me there as well, you know. But you just bypassed me with that one there. I've got a pair, and I'm a big fan. Love them. So comfortable. Really good.
The difference for me with them is the tread as well, especially on the racing shoes, which I did really figure out at Cardiff the other night, is the traction on them in the tread. You can't really find any of the pro shoes, carbon shoes with a tread like that. They're all very silky, very sleeky. And obviously with all the bends that we went round on the laps, it was a breeze to get shoes,
Yeah, I found that with like the early Vaporflies, you didn't really have any traction on the corners, and then the Alpha Flies did have traction, but they were so high they were like platform shoes that on a corner you felt you were going to snap your ankles. Yeah. So yeah, it's good that there's so many more different like options now coming out where they're really like trying to knuckle down and get the best shoe. Maybe it's like a different shoe for a different course.
Yeah,
it would end up being the best.
So Alex, I think Parzy's got some questions for you about obviously you've done a few top flight races as people have seen on the streams. But yeah, Parzy, I think you had a few questions for Alex about sort of how she first heard about top flight and things like that.
Well, yeah, exactly that really. So I mean, the first race you came into was Battersea. People can laugh at me here. I actually sent Alex a message, if you remember last year, because we were like, oh, Alex Bell's going to do road racing now. We'll see if we can get her in top flight. Sent a message, but then you didn't. You left me hanging, so I couldn't do anything. It doesn't let you send a second one. So then just before Battersea, you actually messaged me saying, could you get an entry? And I was like, oh, yes. So, yeah, how did you end up hearing about us? No, that's fine. That's fine.
He's used to it. Alex is used to it.
I know. How did you find out about the races? And then, yeah, I guess then how did it go?
I'm sorry, I do apologise.
You-
Came back crawling to you. I'm like, please let me.
Yeah, not the first. Move it along.
No. We worked very closely with my coach, and I think we were just at a phase, a training block, where we were just like, hey, let's just try a 5K. What's on the scene right now? And I think I'd done a few 10Ks on the lead up to Battersea. And I think one of the things that had been letting me down was confidence going through 5K within the 10K. I'd never done a 5K to that point to know what I was actually capable of. So we thought if we got a few 5Ks, down, get to know what I am actually capable of, maybe I can understand my body more going into a 10K race and what it would feel like, and know that I'm at the village a little bit slower, obviously, than to do the 5K. Battersea was the one. It was a brilliant evening. The weather, the conditions, it's been great that week. Yeah, it was a really, really good night, and I'm so proud and pleased that I was able to come away and run what I did.
Yeah, it was great. There was quite a contrast though to then the next one at Aintree, because it was a little bit more isolated and quite windy. So that must have felt like going from Battersea where the conditions were perfect. You were in a group, got pulled along by like the guy. I didn't quite catch you because I was just behind at the start and further behind at the end, but we'll not talk about that. But yeah, at Aintree was obviously a different experience because you were probably left isolated. So mentally, how did you find that one?
That was a struggle, to be honest with you. That was a really hard thing to run a 5K. I was expecting another little group I could latch onto, but that group on stuff was just way too out of my capabilities, and the gang behind were obviously a little bit too slow. So I just made it a hard run, training run, and that was the best I could do in those conditions on that day.
That's the one where you're like, that's the proper transition to being like a distance runner compared to an 800. 800, if you can front run a race and you've actually only got to think about hanging on for about 30 or 40 seconds. But in a 5K, the last 2K can seem like a very, very long way if you've gone out hard and you're then isolated.
The takeaway though from it was, well, the next time I run a 5K, I'm going to be in company. It's going to be better conditions and can do better. But nonetheless, the event that you pulled off again there, that course, the stadium, all your staff, it was brilliant. Honestly, hats off to you guys.
Yeah, cheers. So, we're hoping to get you back at some point, because what do you think about the series overall? Because basically, we're trying to not just do one race a year. We want to keep like a narrative. We want to raise the profile of the athletes, keep the momentum going all the way through the year. Hopefully, some people will come back multiple times. They'll then trigger the series, prize money, and yeah, we can continue to build the profile of the athletes over the whole year, rather than, athletics has got this reputation of just sort of dipping in and out, and people just lose the thread of what's going on with the sport. So we're hoping to just get people up there, create a bit of a story around the whole thing, and then have a climax towards the end of the year where we're basically tying this race within a race, where you've got the series points within the races themselves. So like adding that extra element. But is it something that you've like thought about, and did it make you think, oh yeah, actually I'll make sure that I get 3 in so that I get the money, try and like win on that front as well?
Yeah, honestly, the money was definitely a massive factor. As you know, in sport and athletics itself, it's quite hard to come by, and especially on the track, like you have to travel miles and obviously Europe, and it's not always guaranteed that when you travel that far that you're going to get the result that you want. But yeah, the prize and making sure that you do the 3 events is definitely a big pull factor. And I'm looking towards maybe November to do the Fulham, to try and get that 3rd win, dare I say. But we've got to be in it to win it. And that's going to be my next goal with the top flight, hopefully.
Yeah, it would be fantastic to see you there. Well, I don't like to put too much pressure on people saying that they're definitely going to run, because I know like what happens as an athlete. You can get niggles and stuff like that. So yeah, it would be fantastic to see you back there, especially to hopefully pick up the series win. What about, on quite a lot of the podcasts that we've done, we've mentioned like trying to raise the profile of the women's field and trying to get that more competitive. There's obviously naturally more men doing this than women. So it's been hard to get like head-to-head battles. Battersea, we worked out pretty well because there was 3 or 4 really good ladies in the race. But is there anything you think we can do to attract more of the leading female athletes to the races so that we get a, we'll get a bunch and we just keep the momentum building on that front as well?
It's quite a difficult one, isn't it? Because it's always the season and you're trying to pinpoint the dates on your calendar when we can get track athletes in and we can get road athletes in and mix together. So it's always going to be a difficult one. But I like the idea of creating a team event. So you can pick and choose, like you can, like, do you know what I mean? It's like the Japanese do it quite a lot as well, especially within the work environment. And every race you can pick and choose a different team, or you can lock in the same team if you need. But girl power and all that. I think that would be quite a beneficial attraction. You will get a team prize as well and divide it between you. That could be something.
Yeah, I like the idea of that. So I've seen like the stuff you mentioned there, the way they do it in Japan and the different corporations. They have like their own teams in there. And it's just sort of a culture that we really don't have in the UK at the moment. But I do think there's been a massive culture shift towards running in, slowly building over the past couple of years. But it feels like the last year, like everyone seems to be running. There's run clubs popping up all over the place. So then I think, well, actually down the line, is there scope for these type of events where, and we've discussed it before, haven't we, saying like, should we, do an event where we have like a mixed team, or do we have individual teams? And it's just about, letting it sort of evolve a bit more and then think, right, pinpoint that one. That's what people want. And it's good for you to tell us this kind of stuff, because then we're like, well, this is what the athletes who are competing are saying that they want, so let's give them it. So yeah, it is
the team and the mix. You said that sounds like everybody loved the mixed relay and the cross country as well. Like it's always an exciting thing. Everyone involves obviously a lot of people, more people for the team, but everybody wants to feel a part of something.
Yeah, definitely.
And especially if you're coming from a track background, unless you're in a relay team, you don't ever get that feeling. So that would be something that could complement, like on the winter side of things.
Yeah. I really like the idea of it. I like the idea of being able to sort of choose our own teams, which could be based around training groups rather than clubs, because everybody's got that bit of loyalty to their own club. But unless you're at one of the much bigger clubs, it's hard to get a team out all of the time.
Yeah.
So it would be, I know it might go down like a lead balloon with some of the traditionalists, but it would be really good, I think, if you could say, oh, well, I'm running for this team at this event, whether that's like your particular training group. So you can, as long as you identify beforehand, this is our group, we're entering as a team in this race. And then that adds a different element, because like my training group's got athletes from about 4 or 5 different clubs in.
Yeah.
But it would be class if you were running together representing your training group.
Yeah.
So yeah, something like that might work, especially if it was mixed, because you want to make sure that you've got enough teams to make it actually competitive as well. So yeah, that'd be pretty cool.
Something to scope out. Alex, I know Chris has mentioned, what fixtures you've got lined up next from a potential top flight point of view. But I'd seen that you signed in for a half marathon. Is that what's coming up next?
Yeah, 8 weeks.
So is that going to be your next race of this year, or have you got any like sort of sharpeners before then? And how's the prep going for the marathon? Half marathon, sorry.
Don't sign me up just yet. So I've got a 10K on the 28th of September. It's the Vitality. I'm played down in London. So I don't know if that's a sharpener or not. And yeah, it'll be a great race regardless. It's always been nice there, and a really, really good 10K down there, really fast. Love running in London, like the crowds around there, love seeing the sights, although I'm not sure how much traffic taking in. And then, from there, it'll be a couple of weeks until an Amsterdam half marathon.
Oh, nice.
And the training's been amazing.
Yeah.
Like, yes, I'm tired. Yes, I've barely got any toenails. But it's great, honestly. It's just it's personality about it. It's just the groups, the long runs. I'm just trying to enjoy every single thing and not find it a chore, and remind myself, I chose this. I have to do this. Yeah. So when it gets hard on the track and I'm doing, I don't know, 12 5K or whatever, it's like, right, we've asked for this.
Yeah. And you mentioned the group setting there. I'd seen you'd done a bit of training. Was it with Ben Connor and Lily Partridge? obviously they, both no strangers to the longer distance. So did they sort of shed any pearls of wisdom for you? And what was it like, getting a session in with those guys?
Oh, it was great. They came up and we treated them to the Great Yorkshire weather. And yeah, like I said, I just like to pick the brains of anyone who's, in their field of expertise. And yeah, the support what I'm doing, and it was just great to run with Lily, run against her at the 10K a few weeks ago. But yeah, just the rubbing shoulders. I just try to learn everything that she's learned on her journey as well.
Yeah.
And yeah, just absorb. Like I said earlier on, just be a sponge and absorb as much as I can. Pick her brains. Hopefully, we have a few more sessions as well. I think she might be doing the vitality as well. But we'll have to wait and see. Always welcome to train with her, and she's always welcome up to Lily's any time.
Yeah, we'll have to develop a domestic rivalry and build all the promo around that.
With the team.
Or the team.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
see the rivals.
I'll tell you what, that's a dangerous duo already, that in that team mind, isn't it?
Yeah, if we've got some quick fire question. I guess what I might add a quick fire one in. Marathon, yes or no?
Yes.
Nice.
I feel like I'm halfway there in 8 weeks. So, we'll see how the body fares afterwards, where the mind's at, how many toenails I've got left.
These toenails are getting some chat this evening. Alex, you're the one who keeps bringing up your toenails as well. I mean, we could have asked you some questions about your feet if that's the route you wanted to take it down. Alex, mine isn't really a quick fire question. Mine's just more of intrigue here. I've seen that your dad's partial to a Chinese takeaway on a Saturday night. I've seen that very popular on your socials. Because I'm a big takeaway man. I love a takeaway. But what I want to know is, what's your dad's takeaway order?
Okay, so with every main course, you get a front side, which is brilliant. So we get 2 sweet and sour chickens, crispy chicken.
Nice.
So then obviously we get a noodle with that and a boil of rice.
Oh, yeah.
And then beef, the black bean beef. And then he just throws something else in every week. But they're the 2 main go-tos.
And is that...
Yeah, you need to come up sometime and train because it is unbelievable. I wouldn't be calling over 100 times to get the ordering, but definitely.
I tell you, that's a man who's committed to the cause. And you know what? I could see me doing something like that on a Saturday night if I was desperate for that takeaway. And on the front of takeaways then, so Chinese, that's your go-to takeaway, or would you deviate to something else if your dad is in pain?
Or a pizza.
Pizza.
Chinese is pretty easy though. It's pretty quick. You know what to get in. My dad always pays, so yeah. Chinese.
And you can tell there's a theme with this here as well. I seem to be pretty hung up on people's takeaways and stuff like that. I did have a list of these, but I know we're running out of time. Give me a favourite chocolate bar. If you're diving in for a bit of chocolate, what you're going for? And I can get really judgy on this as well, so make sure it's a decent one.
Put me on the spot now. Probably just Dairy Milk, although I'm not.
Yeah.
I'm sure there are better ones, but it's always on offer. So
there is better ones, but Dairy Milk is a good shout. Yeah. So we got the nitty gritty of things there, didn't we? We found out what Alex Bell's dad's Chinese takeaway order is and what Alex's favourite chocolate bar is. So yeah, great content for the pod. I'm sure the social media team will be thrilled with me asking them questions.
Yeah, it's a key info.
Yeah. Well, Alex, I tell you what, you've been absolutely fantastic, and thank you for taking time out of your evening and sharing details about your training, race plans, and your toenails. Really appreciated all of that.
That's the real.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, Alex, thanks. You've been fantastic. And from me and Chris and everyone at Top Flight, it's been a pleasure watching you race. And we look forward to seeing many more of your accolades on the road come to fruition.
Oh, thank you so much, guys. It's been a pleasure. And I'll see you at the next run in November, probably. Okay?
Yeah, we'll see you in full.
Brilliant. Take care, Alex.
See ya.
Take care, guys. Thank you.
So that was Alex Bell. Some really interesting points there. I'm sure, we could review and debrief on everything there, but, we'll leave it to you guys to drop into the comments. And on the note of comments, if you like the content, then please subscribe to our YouTube channel. Give these Top Flight podcasts a like and a share as well. And we'll be back for some more content later on.